Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Ophis sealed herself inside Issei's sacred gear? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the PvPSwag for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. Let's start this video. The baby cry sound was heard in a room of a hospital. The baby boy was born. His father was holding him gently with happiness. He tried to stop letting his emotion control him. But as he imagined about the family's happy life when the baby boy joined the family, tears began to gather in his eyes. Once the first tear broke free, the rest followed in an unbroken stream. The baby's father, Mr. Haidu, was crying with joy. His dream to have a boy came into fruition. He looked at the baby, noticing his eyes didn't move together smoothly. He smiled warmly as he knew that it was a normal phenomenon. He then turned to his wife, Mrs. Haidu, who was lying on the bed. "What should we call our wonder son? How about Issei?" "Haidu Issei," Mr. Haidu said with a bright smile. "Yes. Let's call him Issei. My son," Mrs. Haidu said while holding tears in her eyes. She used all her energy for her to sit properly, holding Issei from her husband's hand. She looked at Issei, touching his skin which was wonderfully soft. She couldn't help but giggled at Issei's cuteness. After having a moment of the first mother and son time, a girl with a shapely figure came into the room. Her eyes were brown, the same as her hair, making the nurses and doctors stunned by her beauty. She went to the side of Mrs. Haidu's bed, attracted by the wonderfulness of the baby. "So dad, is that my brother?" the girl called Haidu Yukina asked with an exciting tone. "Yes dear, this is your brother Haidu Issei, the newest member of the Haidu family," Mr. Haidu shouted while hugging his daughter. Yukina was embarrassed by the sudden hug from her father, but she was also happy as she finally had a brother to play with. Suddenly, the hospital was shaking. Mr. Haidu and Mrs. Haidu looked around, the doctor and the nurse inside the room were gone. The room was filled with darkness, close to blocking their vision. Yukina was trembling by the situation. She ran to the door trying to escape, but the door was locked from the outside, which was supposed to be impossible. Mr. Haidu came to her side, holding her head, comforting her as much as he could. However, he was also scared as he never faced situations like this. Mrs. Haidu, who was holding Issei, panicked as she didn't expect such a situation to happen as well. Issei was probably shocked as he cried loudly and made everyone feel worried. The tall man with a nice figure appeared out of nowhere. He was holding a yellow glowing spear, making everyone stare at him. Mr. Haidu sensed that he was a threat. He looked at Yukina, who was still trembling, holding her shoulders with a worried face. "Yukina, get back. Hold Issei so he won't be in danger. Hurry," Mr. Haidu shouted towards Yukina. Yukina nodded and rushed to Mrs. Haidu's side, holding Issei tightly to protect him. "Who are you? Why are you here?" Mr. Haidu asked the man with a trembling tone. He could tell that the man standing in front of him was a powerful man. However, in order to protect his family, he stood up to confront the man himself. The man scratched his, explained with an annoyed tone. "My name is Cabal, a fallen angel from the Bible. I'm one of the leaders of the fallen angel, and I'm here to kill your son. Your son held sacred gear, which was harmful to supernatural beings like us. If you are willing to step away from this, I will spare your life. However, if you refuse, I will make your body into thousands of pieces and throw it away to feed the hungry wolf in my dungeon. There is no way I will let you kill my son. I will now fight you for the peace of my family," Mr. Haidu said with determination. He tightened his fist and pointed towards Cabal. However, Cabal had no sign of blocking his punch. Mr. Haidu grinned as he thought that he could protect his family. Cabal threw a spear passing through Mr. Haidu's stomach. He then crossed his arms and looked at Mrs. Haidu. Blood spread everywhere, making Mrs. Haidu cry in pain. She couldn't believe that her husband was killed without any mercy from the enemy. She was both angry and sad that she stood up from her bed trying to avenge her husband. She stood up while gritting her teeth as the pain after the delivery still existed. Staring Cabal with a scary face, she screamed. "I don't know who you are or whatever the hell are you from. You killed my husband and I'm going to avenge him." Cabal sighed as he completely ignored her. He walked towards Issei while getting blocked by the human mother. Tilted from her action, he stabbed another yellow spear to her head, making her fall down. This time it was more serious as her face was no longer recognizable. Only blood was covering her face, making Yukina scared more than ever. She was traumatized by the whole scene, and her body couldn't stop shaking, as she just witnessed both of her parents getting killed by a powerful man. As Cabal got closer, Yukina walked back step by step until she felt she was blocked by the wall. She holds her brother more tightly, wanting to protect him, but there's nothing she can do. Eager for assistance, she kept praying for God to help her even though she was never a Christian. However, none of that works. No one came and saved her and her brother. Just give up. This is your fate. Your fate is to get killed because of your brother. Curse him as he leads the death of yours. Cabal started making Yukina fall apart. Cabal created another spear, pointed towards Yukina. Yukina finally gave up hope as she looked at him emotionlessly. However, the fact that she still held Issei tightly made him feel irritated. Issei was calmed by the warmth of the hug, but Yukina was scared as she knew that both of them would die. He threw his spear towards Yukina. Realizing this was fate, Yukina closed her eyes slowly waiting for her death. Unexpectedly, a lowly girl appeared suddenly causing the spear to stop on its own. Who are you? Why are you here stopping my plan? Cabal shouted. However, he started to tremble after sensing the girl's aura. Her aura was unexpectedly high, he sensed there were no limits to her energy. I'm Ophis, Ouroboros dragon. The dragon of infinity. Ophis introduced herself with a monotone making Cabal fall on the ground shaking with fear. Ophis, no, please don't kill me. Cabal begged for mercy, making Ophis sighed. I'm just going to let you go. If you dare to harm this baby I will kill you. Ophis said. Cabal teleported himself away while having fear in his eyes. Ophis turned and looked at Yukina. Yukina was shocked by the events happening right now. She didn't know what the hell was going on. Her parents were killed by a so-called fallen angel. She almost got killed, but a lowly girl called Ophis rescued her. Ophis turned herself towards Yukina and walked to her side slowly. Yukina was unsure of Ophis's next action, making her shaking again, but not as much when Cabal tried to kill her. I will not harm you. After all, the reason I'm here is to fuse myself into this baby's sacred gear. Ophis said while patting Yukina's head. Yukina felt a little bit relieved but was confused about what Ophis said. What is sacred gear? Yukina asked. Before I explain, do you believe in God from the Bible? Ophis asked. Not before this. Yukina replied. Well, God is real. Fallen angels, devils, angels from the Bible are all real. Everything related to them is real. Ophis said making Yukina blew away. What? Yukina shouted. Bah baby Issei cried as Yukina shouted too loudly. Don't scream that loud. He will cry. I will cast a sleep spell on him so I can continue my explanation. Ophis said as she took out her finger and placed it on Issei's forehead. After that, Issei stopped crying and slept. Okay, let me continue. Sacred gear is created by the God of the Bible. He created it as part of his system to enact miracles on earth. He also wanted to help humans to confront the supernatural such as devils. Your brother is one of the sacred gear possessors. If the sacred gear is removed, the possessors will die. Ophis explained making Yukina understand more about the supernatural. So, I heard that you are the dragon god, right? Are you the strongest in this world? Yukina asked. Yes. I'm the strongest existence in this world. In fact, the universe. However, one more existence could compete with me. He is the Apocalypse Dragon, Great Red. He is also the Dragon of Dreams, similar to Infinity. Ophis said. Okay, I learned enough. Then why are you here? Yukina asked as she really wanted to know why the strongest existence in the universe came here to save her brother. Originally, I wanted to fight Great Red who was residing in the Dimension Gap. The Dimension Gap was my original home before Great Red came and forced me to leave. I came to Earth to gather reinforcements to help me fight him, however it didn't work out. Instead, they used my power to cause destruction everywhere. I felt guilty and I wanted to redeem myself by sealing myself. The best will be residing in a sacred gear and I will be giving my power to the kindest person in the world. Your brother will be the one I'm choosing, so that's why I came here to save your brother. Ophis explained, making Yukina shocked. Ophis stood up and prepared to leave. Wait. Where are you going? Yukina asked, feeling worried about being alone. I will be returning. I will meet you again when he is 6 years old. At that time, he was probably able to wield my power. Ophis said and she teleported away. Yukina found herself back to her home again. She was shocked that her home had added accessories for a baby and even a huge bed for the baby to rest in. She then put Issei on the bed. Without knowing what to do next, she sat there and calmed down for a while. 6 years later. Hide your residence. Nisan. Play with me. Hide and seek. Issei shouted to Yukina who was doing household chores. Issei was a cute boy around 1.25 meters with brown eyes and brown hair, the same as his sister. He was wearing a red t-shirt and yellow shorts. He ran towards Yukina who was holding a vacuum cleaner. Yukina put down her vacuum cleaner and patted Issei's head. Issei, what did I tell you? Nisan needs to finish the household chores first, right? Issei, be patient, okay? Yukina said, making Issei feel sad. Tears started to flow from Issei's eyes. Don't worry, I will play with you. After 2 minutes, okay? Yukina said, making Issei wipe his eyes, and he looked at Yukina with a happy face. Promise? Issei asked. Of course, my little brother. Yukina smiled. Yay. Ni-sen, I love you. Issei hugged her tightly. Suddenly, a girl appeared at the back of Issei. Yukina looked at that girl, she was shocked. The lowly girl. The same girl she saw 6 years ago, the day of her parents' death. Ophis? Yukina asked, hoping for the answer. Yeah, that's me. I forgot to ask your name 6 years ago. What is your name? Ophis asked. My name is Haidu Yukina, and this one here is my brother that you are looking for, Haidu Issei. Yukina placed her hands around Issei and introduced him to Ophis. Hello Ophis-an. I'm Haidu Issei. Please take care of me. Issei said, bowing to Ophis. Issei. Nice to meet you. My name is Ophis, Ouroboros dragon. The dragon of infinity. Ophis said with a monotone again. Ugh, this is the same tone that you used 6 years ago. Wait. That's not what I'm going to ask you. Why are you still the girl from 6 years ago? Yukina asked with a confused voice. I'm ageless. I can change whoever I want. For example, I can change myself into a 100 years old woman, a baby, teenager as well. Ophis said while changing her appearance. She changed to an old woman immediately. The woman that she changed was a 100 years old woman. She looks like a reclusive character who was homeless. Her face was time-chiseled and weather-beaten. Wow, Yukina said with amazement. Ophis turned back to a lowly girl. Yukina looked at Issei, who was shocked just like her. Issei then raised his head to look at Yukina, making her smile as the warmth that Issei's smile delivered made her feel reassured. Now, I will summon his sacred gear and fuse myself in it, Ophis said, raising her hand ready to seal herself inside Issei's sacred gear. She started to gather energy and summon Issei's sacred gear. Mile away. Surzich's Lucifer, one of the Yaodai Mayu, felt an irregular presence nearby. That presence. Is that Ophis, Surzich's thought to himself. He was shocked that Ophis was nearby and she was in an ordinary human world. If her objective is to still find people to kill Great Red. That's bad. I need to stop her now. Surzich summoned a magic circle trying to teleport himself to Ophis's location. Haidu residence. Issei's sacred gear was forcefully summoned by Ophis. It was a normal twice critical. However, it was a dragon-type sacred gear which allowed Ophis to seal herself inside. Now, I will put myself inside the sacred gear Ophis and begin to gather enormous aura. She closed her eyes and raised both of her hands, mumming something that even Yukina didn't understand. At the same time, Yukina noticed that a magic circle appeared on the ground. However, it was red and it showed the symbol of House of Gremory. A crimson-haired man appeared and faced Ophis. Ophis. That's enough. I will stop you, Ophis. Surzich shouted while holding a sphere of power of destruction. Surzich, you cannot stop me. I will put myself inside the sacred gear. Ophis said, continuing to put her energy inside the twice critical. Stop, Ophis. Issei cannot handle this sort of power. He will die. Yukina screamed as she didn't want to lose her only brother. Issei meant the world to her since her parents were killed. She raised him, fed him, and took care of him all by herself. She couldn't leave Issei to face the supernatural at such a young age. Not willing to lose Issei, she stood in front of Ophis trying to stop her. Relax, Yukina, he won't die. He was the only one who could wield my power while being kind. Ophis said, making the Surziches more angry. Stop it, Ophis. You will just bring catastrophe to this world. I will now stop you so no more innocent people will be involved again. Surziches shouted with determination. He put his hands on Yukina's shoulder and pulled her back. He threw an orb made of power of destruction towards Ophis. However, Ophis's power was so immortal that it was impossible for her to get hurt. The orb with great power that Surziches sent vanished when it almost reached Ophis. Surziches then made more bigger and powerful orbs and threw them towards Ophis while Ophis was focusing her energy into Issei's sacred gear. Issei felt there was a powerful energy flowing inside his arm as Ophis continued to send her immortal power towards Issei. Issei's twice critical started to be bright, making Surziches suffer as it's a devil's weakness. Issei and Yukina had to turn around and close their eyes as it made them uncomfortable as well. After the light started to become dimmer, Issei and Yukina opened their eyes and Surziches stopped to become painful. Issei then looked at his left arm, although the sacred gear was still in the same shape, the color was different. The gear glowed in a rainbow color except the jewel which remained green, making Surziches and Yukina shocked about the transformation of it. The new sacred gear is now called Infinity Critical. In the current state, Issei was able to unleash 1/millionth of my original power. But with more and more training, he could be able to have full access to my power, being the next dragon god of infinity. The jewel glowed and a familiar voice could be heard. It was Ophis's. No way. Issei, Yukina said while being shocked about Issei's new strength. Infinity Dragon Emperor, Haidu Issei, the wielder of the newest and the strongest high-tier Longinus Infinity Critical. I can already sense this child's potential, and he was holding the fate of this universe at such a young age. Surziches said, feeling scared about Issei. After all, no one had been able to access Ophis's power. Ophis. Ophis. Issei shouted, looking at his infinity critical. Issei, you are my partner starting from today. You need to train yourself to become strong to protect your sister and the ones you love. Don't worry, I will help you train. The green jewel started to glow again as Ophis said to Issei. Ophis. Please don't. My brother is still young. I can't make him do that. Yukina shouted, worrying about her very own brother. Surziches turned to Yukina with shock as he didn't expect this beautiful young woman to be Issei's big sister. How rude I am to not introduce myself beforehand. As you know about the supernatural, there was no reason to hide my identity. My name is Surziches Lucifer. I'm a pure-blooded devil from the House of Grimory and one of the 4 great devil kings. As a devil, we had a lifespan of 10,000 years. Our strength and power surpassed normal humankind, that's why I was able to shoot those black spheres. The sphere was created by power of destruction, a power that can make everything into nothingness. Surziches said to Yukina. Yukina couldn't react but felt shocked as the fictional character mentioned in the Bible actually exists. Lucifer. A devil king. Yukina mumbled while looking at him. In the Bible, the name Lucifer had been mentioned. In the past, there were 3 factions fighting. Fallen angel, angel and devils. They had conflicts and fought with each other. In the Great War, many devils, fallen angels and angels were killed during the war. The reason that they stopped was because there were 2 dragons fighting, making the world in an unbalanced state. The world almost destroyed because of these 2 dragons, causing them to cooperate and defeat them. The dragons were the 2 heavenly dragons Ddraig and Albion. After they were killed, their souls were sealed inside sacred gear. Ddraig was sealed inside a mid-tier Longinus, boosted gear, and Albion was also sealed inside a mid-tier Longinus, divine dividing. I must let the Infinity Dragon Emperor cooperate with us. Unlike the past generation Mayu, we hoped for peace more than anyone. From the last Great War, many factions were damaged. Our original 4 great devil kings were killed alongside many high-class devils. That's why I need to stop any war to let our kind become extinct. Surziches said. But Surziches hesitated. But what? Yukina asked, feeling confused. I need to turn your brother into a devil to make him more powerful. As his current state, even with his infinity critical, he couldn't survive damage from a low-class devil. That's why by reincarnating him into a devil, he could train with us to become more powerful in the future. Wielding such a type of sacred gear will make people come for your head, that's why you should be trained and protect yourself and the ones you love. Surziches explained the current situation Issei was in. As Issei indeed processed a super powerful Longinus and the Dragon of Infinity was inside the sacred gear, there must be people who wanted to extract his sacred gear and kill him. Yukina looked at Issei's innocent face, patted his head, and asked. Issei, do you want to become a devil instead of a human? Yukina asked Issei. It does sound fun. One-san, please make me a devil. Issei said. Very well. Thank you Issei. I'll use evil pieces to reincarnate you into a devil. However, it is still not the time yet. I will call my sister who just became a high-class devil to turn you into a devil. My sister will be your master and you will be her servant. If you disobey her, you will become a stray devil. Do you understand? Surziches said with a strict tone. Yukina was angry about the Surziches as she saw this was some kind of threat towards Issei. She ran to her side and hugged him tightly, making sure that he wouldn't be attacked by someone else. However, she was also confused by what Surziches just said. What are evil pieces? Yukina stopped her anger and asked Surziches. After Surziches told her about evil pieces, she found it interesting. She invited Surziches to sit on the sofa and asked him more about the Devil Society and the Great War. As Surziches finished explaining, he stood up and looked at Yukina. Then I will be coming back for a few days. Good luck Yukina and the Infinity Dragon Emperor. Surziches said, making a magic circle to teleport himself back to the underworld. A week later, Haidu residence. Issei was sitting on the sofa watching TV while Yukina was wearing an apron doing household chores. Now, after you become a devil, you will need to train yourself with Surzich's little sister. Although his sister is no way as strong as he is, you cannot look down on her. After all, she is a noble high-class devil. Make sure to treat her well. Ophis warned Issei. Okay why, Issei said. The magic circle appeared near the sofa making Issei look in curiosity. Yukina stopped working on her household chores and ran towards Issei's side to wait for Surzich's arrival. Surzich's appeared, next to him was a beautiful girl with crimson hair. She was wearing a tidy red dress with a gold bracelet on her hands. Hello Yukina, hello Issei. Surzich's waved his hands towards Yukina and Issei. Hello, Surzich's sama. Yukina and Issei said together. This is my little sister that I was talking about. She will first live with you guys for a while before turning Issei to a devil. As she loved Japan, this is also a great opportunity for her to observe the human world. Ria-tan, introduce yourself. Surziches said, looking at Rias. Rias looked at Yukina and bowed. Wani-sama. Please don't call me that name. My name is Rias Gremory, the heir of the House of Gremory. I will be living here for a short while, so please take care of me. Rias raised her hands expecting a handshake. I'm hi to Yukina, you can just call me Yukina. Welcome. Yukina said, shaking Ria's hands. I'm hi to Issei. Please call me Issei. Issei said with a shy tone. He couldn't help but find Rias cute. She never thought there was a girl that could compete or even surpass his sister's beauty. He stared at Rias quite a while, making Rias blushed. Well, since I'm a Mayu, I have some duties to do. I will be leaving now. Please take care of my little sister, despite the fact that she is selfish and sometimes quite hard to deal with. Surziches said while teleporting himself to the underworld. At the same time, Rias was as red as her crimson hair. She was embarrassed of what her brother said. So Rias-chan, since Issei was bored, can you play with him while I prepare dinner? Yukina asked, making Issei blush as he can hang out with a beautiful girl standing beside him. Rias and Issei walked to the garden and played for a while. They got to know each other and went back to the residence. Ever since, they started to get really good friends and even developed feelings towards each other. 2 weeks after, Rias and Issei were playing in the garden again. They were having a great time until Yukina came out and told them to come back. After they came back while holding hands, they saw Surziches was sitting on the sofa in the living room. Rias immediately blushed as she never thought her brother would come to the house without her knowing, most of all, she was holding Issei's hands. Rias, it seems like you are having a good time in the human world. Surziches laughed as Rias continued to become redder. Surziches-sama, they were playing all the time. I can hear a lot of laughter from Issei, making me feel happy as Rias was making him enjoy his life. Yukina said, making Issei blush as well. That was all thanks to Rias. She helped me train every day. I was able to understand more about my sacred gear's power as she guided me. After training, she would always play with me which made me feel happier all the time. Issei said while blushing. Issei, I need to thank you too. You have made me feel happy ever since the day I met you. I was always sad because of my position as the heir of Gremory. Many people gave me high expectations which made me feel frustrated all the time. But after meeting you, those pressures were gone as I was spending with you. I felt happiness and love when I was with you. Thank you, Issei. Rias said as she hugged Issei tightly, making Surziches shocked. Issei, do you love Rias? Surziches asked Issei. Rias was shocked and covered her face with her hands due to embarrassment. She loved Issei, but she didn't know if Issei loved her as well. She couldn't get the courage to tell Issei her feelings, so the sudden question made her feel scared as she was afraid that Issei would reject her. Surziches-sama, yes. I love Rias with all my heart. Issei said with a shy tone. Although he was embarrassed, he couldn't hide his feelings towards Rias anymore. He loved Rias no matter who she was, as she was the one who gave him a lot of happiness. After Rias heard it, tears of joy started to stream from her eyes. She held Issei on his lips and hugged him tight. Issei, I love you too. Rias said, making Issei shocked by her actions. However, he hugged her back and ate on her ass. I never saw Ria-tan this happy before. Wait, this is not why I'm here today. Surziches thought to himself. Ria-tan, it is time for you to make Issei your servant. Take out your evil piece and check how much piece Issei is worth. Surziches said as Rias nodded and took out her evil pieces. The only thing that she used was a queen piece. As Issei had a powerful sacred gear, she needed 8 pawn pieces to reincarnate him to a devil. She then took out 8 pawn pieces and placed them on Issei's heart. The pawn pieces began to glow, and Rias asked Issei. Are you ready for Issei? Yes, indeed I am. Ophis, you? Of course I'm ready. Let's go. In the name of Rias Gremory, I call you, hi to Issei, surrender your soul and become my trusted pawn. 8 pieces turned to a crimson color immediately after the ritual. They were mutated as the powerful sacred gear Issei process. The pieces got into his body one by one. But on the last one, the evil piece started to turn into a jet black color, making Surziches and Rias shocked. The jet black pawn piece flowed into Issei's body as well. Wow, Issei, you became a devil, Yukina said with a surprised look. 4 wings appeared behind Issei's back, making Surziches and Rias confused even more. Wait. I thought only the original Devil King or the descendant of the original Devil King had 4 devil wings. Why? Rias asked in confusion. Since Issei processes my power, it is normal for him to have 4 wings and the evil piece to be mutated. However, one of the mutated pieces turned into the jet black color. In this case, it turned into a super mutation piece, as 8 normal mutated pieces cannot accept the power of infinity. A pawn piece needed to be turned to be able to accept Issei's great power. Ophis said, making Surziches and Rias shocked. Alright. Issei, you have finally reincarnated into a devil. Riatan, let us go back to the underworld to continue your training. Surziches said, walking to Rias' side, but Rias ran to Issei's side and hugged him. No one-sama. I don't want to leave Issei. Rias shouted, hugging Issei tighter and tighter as she didn't want to leave Issei. Seems like you want to hang out with your new boyfriend. Very well. You couple over there, come with me to the underworld and train. Surziches then made a magic circle telling Issei and Rias to follow him. Issei. Be safe, alright. Come back as quickly as possible. Yukina ran into Issei's side and gave him a hug. Yes, One-san, I will come back once I finish the training. Issei hugged Yukina back. Issei walked into the magic circle and Surziches began to teleport him to the underworld. He trained and played with Rias for 10 years, not with a relationship of master and servant, but as a lovely couple. 9 years after. Underworld. Rias grew to be beautiful and 1.7 meters tall with a voluptuous body. Her crimson hair perfectly matched her beauty, as a result she was considered everyone's ideal girlfriend. Issei became a handsome and 1.76 meters tall man. Her handsome appearance attracted many girls, while boys hated him for his attractiveness. Rias and Issei were sitting in the living room in the Gremory mansion, and Rias decided to tell Issei some big news. Issei, I will be going to the human world and study as a first grader in high school. Rias told Issei, making him feel surprised. And then I guess good luck then. Issei said with no reaction. Rias was kinda angry because Issei didn't react to her sudden leave. She expected Issei to be missing him and much more, but he just simply said like he didn't care. What do you mean by good luck? Rias said with an annoyed tone. Well, I was going to tell you that I would be training with Tannen, the former Dragon King. I will be training over a year, and I will be joining the same school as yours, Rias. Issei said, patting Rias' head to make her calm down. Rias and Issei on his lips and began to talk about something else. 1 year after. Haidu residence. Issei. Remember to bring your school bag. Don't be late on the first day of your school. Okay, One-san, I'll double check my things now. Issei went back to his sister's home after the training. He had trained his body and developed a muscular body. He has great physical and good stamina thanks to Tannen's training. As a result, his fighting abilities were also improved. I'm heading. Issei opened the door and started to walk to his new school, Kuoh Academy. It was a girls-only school until 2 years ago as it changed to a co-ed school. When he was walking towards the school gate, people around started to whisper. Oh my god. He is so handsome. A new student. He is as handsome as Prince Kiba. I think he is more handsome, should he be the second prince of Kuoh? Not a prince but a king. Girls seemed to be excited about Issei's arrival. Damn it. Another Bishounen. With his existence we will never get a girlfriend. Yuck. Go die, you handsome boy. Boys apparently thought differently. Issei went to the general office and finished his registration procedure as a transfer student. After the bell rang, a teacher came to greet Issei. Hello, Haidu Issei-kun, I'm your homeroom teacher, Asuka-sensei. Please follow me so I can lead you to your classroom. Issei then followed her to the classroom. When he passed by the classrooms, many students looked at the window to see Issei's handsome appearance. However, Issei didn't care for a bit as he only wanted to meet one person, his love Rias Gremory. He was informed beforehand that Rias was studying in this school. Surziches secretly put him in the same class as Rias without her even knowing. As Asuka-sensei and Issei walked into their classroom, people started to whisper again. This is definitely weird. Ophis said in Issei's mind. I know, right? So annoying. Issei said in his mind. Is that Rias Gremory? Ophis said, making Issei look at his new classmates. Issei found a crimson-haired girl chatting with her classmates. He couldn't help but grinned as he finally found the one he loved. Everyone, welcome to class 2B. I'm Asuka, your homeroom teacher. Now, next to me is a new transfer student who just went to school for the first time. Mr. Haidu, can you introduce yourself? Asuka-sensei looked at Issei to introduce himself. He nodded and began to speak up. Hello everyone. My name is Haidu Issei. I'm a new student here. Since it is the first time I have ever attended a school, I will definitely need support to adapt to my school life. I hope that we can get along this year. Please take care of me. Issei said, bowing to his classmates. Now, do any of you have any questions for Issei-kun? Asaka-sensei asked. The girl with glasses raised her hands. After she stood up, Issei noticed that she was wearing a pair of glasses with brown eyes and brown hair. He didn't know why, but he felt that she was probably a pervert. Haidu-kun, do you have a girlfriend? The girl asked, making everyone wait for his answer. Suddenly, another girl stood up. Is that you? Rias Pav. I was chatting with my classmates because this year will be another year of my human world school life. I am so happy but also feel sad as I can't see Issei anywhere. He said that he will be here after his training, but apparently he is not here. Maybe he will be coming in a few days. While I was thinking about it, my homeroom teacher came in and began to introduce herself. I didn't care about the introduction, so I continued to chat with my classmates. Until I heard this. Mr. Haidu, can you introduce yourself please? Asuka-sensei said it, making me think about who Mr. Haidu is. Issei's surname is Haidu. So does that mean? Hello everyone. My name is Haidu Issei. I'm a new student here. Since it is the first time I have ever attended a school, I will definitely need support to adapt to my school life. I hope that we can get along this year. Please take care of me. That was Issei. My lovely Issei. He was finally here. I couldn't react as I was totally shocked. I stared at him as long as I could. I really missed him. When I heard that the female pervert Kiryuika asked him if he had a girlfriend or not, I jumped out of my shock and stood up. Is that you? I asked, hoping he would be the Issei I know. Third person Pav. Oh hi Rias. That's me. I missed you so much. Issei said, making Rias blush. Rias ran to Issei and hugged him tightly. Everyone was shocked to see this scene. The most beautiful girl in the school just hugged the new transfer student. What? What is your relationship with Rias-san? The female pervert asked Issei in disbelief. Yes. Who are you? Why are you hugging Rias? No, I can't make Rias my girlfriend anymore. She is stolen. He is stolen. The boys and girls started to feel sad about the situation. Issei cleared his throat purposely to make everyone silent. Rias ignored other people's comments and still hugged Issei tightly. My girlfriend is the beautiful lady here, Rias Gremory. Issei said in Rias on her forehead. I love you Issei. I missed you so much, Rias said to him back. After a moment of silence. After Issei confirmed his love relationship with Rias, everyone in the class freaked out about it. Not only the student, but Asaka-sensei was shocked about it as well. After knowing their relationship, Asaka-sensei made Issei sit next to Rias so he could adapt to school life at a faster speed. Moreover, Rias rejected anyone to sit beside her before Issei transferred. Issei-kun, please sit next to Rias-san. I thought this would be a good opportunity for Issei-kun to adapt to school life easier. Rias-san, can you? Asuka-sensei asked Rias, hoping she would accept. She knew Rias was an idol in the school, but she refused to talk to any man or even girls, except her club members, the Occult Research Club. She was currently the club president of it. However, if Issei is her boyfriend, then she might be able to accept her request. Rias didn't respond to her question. Instead, she hugged Issei's arm. My seat is over there. Come Issei, sit next to me. Rias said happily as she walked to her seat alongside Issei. Everyone except the couple was jealous that Issei could sit next to her. But most of all, they still couldn't believe the great one Isama of Kuoh actually dated a transfer student, and he is a super handsome one. It made everyone jealous but also happy about their relationship. Recess. The news of Rias and the new transfer student being in a relationship spread like wildfire. Everyone who heard was either in shock or crying, as they will never get a chance to date Rias. Girls were sad that Issei was occupied, but the boys looked down on Issei and began to flirt with Rias. Rias. Date with me, not this scumbag. A boy with 1.78 meters with a fine physique pointed at Rias. Rias just stood up staring at him, making him scared as he knew if he pissed off the great one Isama of Kuoh, he would probably get killed by either boys or girls. Once that guy retreated, Rias sighed and looked at Issei. Issei was currently looking outside the window wondering something. Rias then went towards his side and hugged him behind. Issei felt her large bust on his back and felt embarrassed as Rias did such bold action. Not only he felt surprised, but also everyone didn't know Rias was this daring. So Issei, you have become more muscular huh? Rias whispered in Issei's ear with a seductive tone. Come on Rias, with a year training, this is normal right? Besides, you are too bold. Everyone is staring at us. I don't mind being bold as long as I'm with you. You know I love you right? Rias said, hugging him tighter. Issei looked around and began to worry. Yeah I get it, so please stop as I think they are going to kill me, Issei begged Rias to make Rias break the hug. Issei turned around and saw a lot of faces. All boys were staring at him with killing intent and girls were staring at his muscular body and praised it. Some girls were also sad as the new handsome transfer student was Rias' boyfriend, they could do nothing but accept the truth. He looked at Rias after looking at everyone's reaction. She puts on a sad face which makes Issei feel guilty about breaking the hug. To comfort her, he put his left hand on Rias and the right hand on her head to pat her. Rias gave a bright smile and then put her right hand on top of Issei's left hand. Die. Die boys around started to mumble. Oh my god, I never see Rias-sama behave this way. He must be a terrific guy. Not only his handsome appearance, apparently he had a great personality too. He is the perfect boyfriend. Girls seemed to be satisfied with their actions. Rias ignored them as usual and she told Issei about the school. She hugged his hands, pulling him to walk around the whole school. Although Issei learned about it, the surrounding people were looking at him with either a shocked face or a killing gaze. This school is lively, isn't it? Ophis said in Issei's mind. Yeah. Why was I targeted just because I'm dating Rias? This is so broken, Issei said, and he sighed in real life. Issei, what happened? Rias asked in curiosity as Issei suddenly sighed. This school was way too lively, Issei said, making Rias laugh at his honesty. Issei, just ignore them. This school had way too many gossips and I never cared a single one of them. Although I don't care, I still feel frustrated about what rumors they have been spreading. But now you are here, I can be reassured of my time here now. Rias said excitedly, making Issei smile. They walked into class 2A and everyone was wondering why they were here. Rias was planning to introduce her queen to Issei. They walked on the side of a girl with a long ponytail and a voluptuous figure that could compete with Rias. She was reading a book before Rias and Issei stepped in. Issei held Rias' hand as she knew there would definitely be boys trying to flirt with his precious girlfriend and he couldn't accept that. Rias walked with Issei to her queen's side with a slight blush. The girl looked at both of them with shock. She also found Issei attractive, but seeing Rias hold a man's hand, she could guess they were not in a healthy relationship. Akeno, this is my pawn and also my lover I always mentioned. Issei, introduce yourself. Rias looked at Issei telling him to introduce himself. Akeno was shocked about it. Hello, my name is Haidu Issei. Call me Issei. I'm Rias' boyfriend as well as her only pawn. Please take care of me as we're serving the same master. Issei said, trying to lower his voice as they were the only devils here. Akeno then stood up and began to introduce herself. My name is Himejima Akeno. I'm Rias' queen as well as her best friend. Please take care of me as well. Akeno offered a handshake and Issei gladly accepted. Issei, you will be joining the Occult Research Club as it is the headquarters for us to do the devil's work and contracts. I will go to the base room with you after school. Rias said and Issei nodded. So Issei-kun, are you the rumored wielder of the Longinus Infinity Critical? Akeno said shyly as she was attracted by Issei's handsome face. Rias was confused when Akeno acted like that. Yes. Inside my sacred gear, the former dragon god Ophis was residing in it. I will show you my sacred gear after school. Issei said, making Akeno shocked. So you are the first reincarnated devil to have a super mutation piece inside your body. Akeno mumbled and Issei nodded. Ring 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 ring. Seems it is time for the lesson. I will see you guys after school. Akeno waved her hands towards the couple who were leaving. After school. I never thought the school was this fun. Issei said with a face full of satisfaction. Yeah, especially I'm with you Issei, I have so much fun. Rias said as she stood up. The couple began to walk towards the old school building. During the walk, Issei asked about Rias' peerage. So as far as I know, you never told me about your new peerage members except your queen. What pieces do you have right now? Issei asked. Now what I have left are a knight, a bishop, and a rook. I couldn't find suitable candidates for those pieces. Rias began to be sad as she really wanted to complete her peerage. It is okay. You will definitely gather all of your servants. Since the Gremory household was famous for love, many people would like to become your servant. Issei comforted Rias, making her bet him on his dot. Thank you Issei. You are the most precious servant. Rias said, leaning her head on Issei's shoulder. They arrived in the old school building, the base room of the Occult Research Club. Issei was shocked to see the base room as it was a rather huge one. There was a large desk and 2 sofas. On the couches, there was a blonde-haired guy and a white-haired girl sitting on it. The blonde-haired guy was handsome, but he couldn't compete with Issei. The girl was cute and Issei could feel she was no ordinary devil. The girl over there? Ophis said in Issei's mind. Yeah, I can feel it Issei said, beginning to think about the identity of the girl. Welcome to the Occult Research Club. Basically, the existence of the Occult Research Club was to hide our identity as a devil. Since Issei you just transferred here, you will join the Occult Research Club as your first and the only club you are going to participate in. Now, you haven't met my knight and my rook. Yudo, Kaneko, please introduce yourselves. Rias said, and the 2 of them nodded. The blonde-haired guy stood up and bowed to Issei. My name is Kibayudo. I'm from class 2C and I'm a knight of Rias Butchu. I have a sacred gear and it is called Sword Birth. I can create any demonic sword with my magic power, but I still haven't unlocked my balance breaker. Anyway, nice to meet you. Kiba said with a respectful tone. The white-haired girl also stood up and bowed to Issei. My name is Taoju Kaneko. I'm from class 1A and I'm a rook of Rias Butchu. Please take care of me from now on. Kaneko said, making Issei confused about her abilities. After they had introduced themselves, Issei went silent for a while. He can feel that Kaneko was powerful, but she was definitely hiding her identity. Was she afraid of her power or was she doing it purposely? Hey, Issei, go ahead and introduce yourself. You are being rude now, you know. Ophis said, telling Issei to begin his introduction as soon as possible. My name is Issei. I'm a new transfer student from class 2B and I'm Ria's only pawn. I consumed 7 mutation pieces and 1 super mutation piece to become a devil. Issei stated the fact of making Kiba and Kaneko shocked. Rias over there made a proud face. Issei then focused his mind on summoning his sacred gear. The color and the shape of the sacred gear made Kiba confused as he had never seen this type of sacred gear. This is the Infinity Critical. I'm the first wielder of this new high-tier Longinus. Inside the sacred gear, the former dragon god Ophis was resting inside. Ophis, say something. Issei said, looking at the sacred gear. Hi everyone, I'm Ophis, the former dragon god and the dragon of infinity. Ophis said, making Issei confused. Ophis, is this an introduction? Issei asked if the introduction was too brief. Yeah, I don't know what I should talk about. You had basically told everything I had to say. Ophis said, making Issei sigh. Okay. Let me continue my introduction then. I'm the Infinite Dragon Emperor and Ria's boyfriend. Issei said, putting his hands on the back of his head. Rias blushed and was happy about Issei's introduction. However, Kiba and Kaneko were in shock once again. They couldn't believe their president never told him about her having a boyfriend and the mysterious pawn was the Infinity Dragon Emperor. There was another moment of silence until Akeno opened the door. She saw Rias blushed, Issei stood there confused. Kiba and Kaneko were shocked, putting on an O face. Ara, what's going on here? Akeno asked with her usual ara tone. Well, Issei just introduced himself. He surprised Kiba and Kaneko of Issei's identity as the Infinite Dragon Emperor. He also mentioned the fact that I'm his girlfriend, which made me. Ria said while covering herself with her hands. She was still happy about Issei's introduction. Ufu, what a romantic couple. Issei-kun, do you mind me making some tea for you? Rias enjoys drinking my tea as well as everyone else in the club, so I think you will like it as well. Akeno said, offering Issei to drink tea. Of course. I can't wait to drink your tea. Rias, come here as well. I will drink the tea with you. Issei said, making Rias leave her chair and went to Issei's side. When Akeno went inside a room behind the president's desk to make her tea, Issei and Rias walked towards the sofa. After they sat down, Rias was still happy about Issei and she leaned on Issei's shoulder. Issei knew that Rias was pleased, so he decided to put his left hand around her. Rias couldn't be happier when Issei put his hands around her and she hugged Issei suddenly. Issei smiled and looked at Kiba and Kaneko. They never saw their president fall in love like this. They were still in total shock and they didn't know what to do. Akeno came out with a cart of tea and she giggled at the current scene. Rias broke the hug immediately when she saw Akeno as she felt embarrassed. Akeno went to Issei's side and took a cup of tea from the cart and gave it to him. Issei showed a smile to Akeno and drank it with expectations. He drank some of them and he tried to taste the tea as much as he could. He thought that it was good and he just sat there without saying anything. However, Rias and Akeno didn't know what happened and they started to ask Issei various questions. Issei? Is it okay? Rias asked, but Issei still didn't respond. Issei-kun? Do you like it? Akeno asked with a worried tone as she thought Issei disliked it. Issei still didn't respond as he was still intoxicated by the taste of Akeno's tea. Rias began to worry and she pulled Issei's dot. Ouch. Issei finally said something and Rias sighed. Issei-kun? Do you not like it? Akeno said, looking down. No, this is unexpectedly good. You are really good at making tea. Thank you, Akeno-san. Issei said, smiling towards Akeno, making her blush. However, the crimson-haired girl next to Issei began to release a scary aura. Issei. If you want to drink tea, I can make you tea every day. Rias growled as she felt jealous. But you, Issei-kun liked my tea. We know that your tea is no way as good as mine, right? Akeno said, teasing Rias, making Rias angrier. Akeno. I am going to practice my skills and let Issei taste the best tea in the world. Rias shouted as she was devastated about Akeno's statement. Seeing the argument, Issei got a sweat drop as he didn't know what happened. Stupid Akeno. No, Issei-kun just enjoyed my tea after all. Why are you being so stingy? No. Issei is mine. Mine alone. And he will definitely love my tea. I didn't say I will steal Issei from you, did I? Erg. Akeno. Just give up. Akeno continued to tease her master, almost making her explode. Suddenly, a light stopped them. A communication circle appears on the table. A crimson-haired man with an appearance similar to Surzich's appeared on it. Rias, there is a stray devil nearby. Her name is Visor, and you need to bring your peerage and kill the stray devil as she messes around the town. From the evil peace tracker, she was now resting in an abandoned country not far away from your school. Please go and kill this devil who betrayed her master. Aware that this stray devil was a rather powerful one, her level was on par of a high-class devil. Please be careful. The man said, and the communication circle disappeared without any responses from Rias. Stupid father. Alright, since this is Lord Grimmery's order, my adorable servants, let us go and kill this stray devil. Rias shouted excitedly. Hi but you. Rias created a magic circle and teleported her peerage to the abandoned factory. However, there was no one when they arrived. In an abandoned factory. Issei summoned his infinity critical and prepared for an attack. After a while, an object flew towards them at a high speed. Issei stopped it using his power, making the person who threw the object impressed. Come out, stray devil. I know you threw this big silver can. Issei shouted, making the devil come out slowly. The devil was a girl with a reasonably large bust. However, she soon turned into a disgusting monster, making Issei feel disgusted. Rias stepped and said. Stray devil Visor. As you betrayed your master, your punishment is death. In the name of Duke Grimmery, I will perish you. Rias shouted, and she looked at her knight and rook who responded with a nod. Since Kiba was a knight, his trait was fast speed and great techniques to fight the opponent. However, his defenses are weak, and if he were careless, he would be easily defeated. On the other hand, Kaneko is a rook who has a good defense and holds great power. However, she was slow in speed, so opponents were able to escape quickly. Kiba used his sacred gear to create a demonic sword. He rushed towards Visor trying to deal damage. Visor hit him easily, making him fall. However, Kiba created another demonic sword, and this was a more powerful one. He did the same thing again, and this time, both of them were injured. Visor took out her blade and began to fight Kiba. Kiba realized it was impossible to confront her directly, so he ran around her hoping she would get lost. And this was rather a good strategy. Using your speed to hide yourself. Visor said with a sarcastic tone. Kiba ran for a while, and he found a spot that he could attack. He flew towards Visor and began to slash her. You're wide open. Too naive. Visor was able to keep up his speed, and she destroyed his sword using her blade. His sword was shattered into pieces, making him shocked. He created another more powerful demonic sword and breathed heavily. He was surprised that Visor was able to attack him even though he used his best attack and she could destroy his sword effortlessly. He retreated hoping Kaneko can deal with him. Kaneko tanned Visor's side and held her legs with her bare hands. She swung Visor for a few rounds and threw Visor. However, Visor used her demonic energy to land safely. So you're a rook. Great defense and attack power, but poor speed. She rushed to Kaneko's side and gave her a great punch. Even though Kaneko was a rook, she couldn't handle that particular punch. Kaneko was pushed to the ground and injured. She tried her best to get up and gave Visor another mighty blow. But, Visor blocked with her bare hands. You can only do this. You are too weak to fight me. Visor exclaimed and kicked Kaneko away. The girl was holding back. It was too obvious. If she had used her power, she would have won easily. Ophis began to be confused. Issei was doubting about it too, but as Kaneko was being attacked, he began to worry about his allies. When Visor gave her a critical blow, he finally stepped up to confront the monster himself. Visor. You hurt my friend. My god, I will not forgive you. Issei shouted, emitting a scary aura making everyone scared. The aura he emitted was immense as it was close to an ultimate class devil. Ready to kill this shit? Ophis asked. Yeah, let's do this. When Issei was ready to attack, Akeno put her hand on Issei's shoulder and pulled him back. Ara, it seems like you really want to help them. However, I will have to demonstrate my power first, Akeno said, and Rias nodded. Akeno summoned her wings and flew on top of Visor. She noticed that Visor was looking at her with a dull face. It made her more excited as she wanted to punish the stray devil. Visor kun. You are so daring to leave your master. This is an action of a bad kid, and a bad kid needs to be punished, so now bad kid Visor, I am going to punish you, Akeno said while forming lightning with her finger, showing a sadistic smile. Akeno pointed her finger towards Visor. She fired some lightning at Visor, making her tremble. Ah! Stop! Visor screamed as she couldn't endure the pain from Akeno's holy lightning. Ufu scream more so I can enjoy, beg me for mercy, Akeno said, making Issei scared about her. She is a huge SM fan. When she is fighting an enemy, the sadistic side of her activates immediately. Don't worry, she treats her friend well, so you don't expect her to do that to you. Rias said while Kuoh was still making Visor suffer. Visor was apparently taking damage as Kuoh kept sending lightning to attack him. However, Visor tightened her fist and released an abnormal wave to stop her assault. Kuoh was blown away by the wave and she almost lost her balance. As she regained balance, she saw that Visor was looking on the floor. She started to emit a dark green aura. Unforgivable. Unforgivable, who do you think I am? Visor screamed and began to transform herself. She turned into a three-head monster. She was placed in a weird spot close to her belly and her body was slimy. She fired some slime shots towards Kuoh, making her clothes melt. Kuoh's larvae were exposed, making Issei blush. However, he turned and looked at Visor, feeling disgusted about this dirty move. Wow, you just crossed the line, did you? Such a pervert. Well, anyway, I'm going to avenge my vice president. Ophis. Issei shouted, raising his left hand. Infinity boost. Issei's infinity critical shouted. Wait. Infinity boost, Rias exclaimed. Does that mean Issei-kun inherited the power of infinity this early? Kiba shouted as he couldn't believe Issei just wielded immense strength. However, that was not the case. Since the original twice critical can only double the user's power once only, the user will be rather weak. However, since this sacred gear was made of my ability, when Issei boosts his power, he can choose any times of boost he likes. No one was able to figure out how many boosts he did. Although he can boost his power to unlimited, right now it will make him suffer as he still couldn't handle it. He still has a long way to go before processing my original power. Ophis explained. I boosted 100 times. I still cannot fully control this power as too much power made me suffer. Issei said, making Rias and others shocked about his strength. Also, since I'm immortal, Issei is also immortal. Any damage won't cause him injury as the wound will regenerate itself to protect him. Ophis said, making Rias shock even more. Since when did Issei inherit this kind of strength? Despite all those years of training, he was still trying to master a single bit of his power. What had he gone through to get this kind of strength? Rias thought about Issei's power. Not only Issei's physical abilities were increased, but also his attack. Suddenly, he vanished, surprising everyone. Visor tried her best to feel Issei's presence, however, it was a total fail. Wait, where was he? Did he use his power to transparent himself? No, that's not it. He must be planning to attack me. Visor thought. After a few seconds, Issei suddenly appeared next to Visor's side. Gotcha, Issei said. He gave her a hard punch on her stomach, making her spill blood everywhere. Not only that, but she has also punched far away and she damaged the properties next to her. The punch was so great that it broke and created some smoke. After the smoke faded, Visor was painfully leaning on the wall and couldn't move at all. Her head was reduced to one and one of her hands was destroyed. Doing such damage, the Gremory household could say nothing but surprised by Issei's strength. What is this power? Visor screamed while in shock. She was scared about Issei's sacred gear. Most of all, it was the rumored longiness that not even God could create. It was ironic though, as God created the sacred gear system. Rias, you might be wondering, when was I able to use this power? Before the training with Tannen, I couldn't unlock the balance breaker, causing me difficulty to handle. However, during the training, Tannen almost killed me, making me try all my best to survive. As I was willing to survive more than anything, I was able to unlock my balance breaker. It made it so much easier to control my power in both base form and armored form. Issei explained to Rias to solve her confusion. Since you are my master, you should be the one who kills her, Issei said. She nodded and walked towards Issei's side and began to gather the power of destruction in her hands. Stray Devil Visor, do you have anything to say before your death? Rias asked. No. Just kill me, Visor said with a tone of frustration. She already gave up when she witnessed Issei's immense power. Very well. In the name of Duke Gremory, I will now perish you. Goodbye, Stray Devil. Rias said, and she threw her orb made of power of destruction towards Visor. Visor was sucked inside the orb and her body began to perish part by part. She screamed as it was excruciating. Although it was cruel, it was no way as brutal as what she did to humans. She suffered from her own medicine, and this was well deserved. After a few seconds, the scream stopped and there was nothing left. That was tiring. Issei sighed. Rias and the rest of her peerage except Issei were still in confusion about Issei's real power. Although this was expected, they never thought the power of infinity was this strong. Also, Issei wasn't using his full power to fight a high-class devil. Issei looked at them, finding their reaction funny. Ahaha. I should really take my camera and take a photo of this. I will explain what happened during the training to solve your confusion. Now, let us go back to the base room and take our school bags. Issei said, making Rias create a magic circle to teleport themselves back to the old school building. Occult Research Club base room. Issei grabbed his school bag and walked towards the door. When he proceeded to leave, he saw Rias was staring at him hoping for something. "Is anything okay, Rias?" Issei asked. Issei, if you don't mind, can I ask you something?" Rias asked, blushed. "Sure my love, what do you want to ask?" Issei said. Here is the thing. Since you're back I was wondering, can I live with you?" Rias asked, feeling embarrassed about it. Issei found her reaction cute and he walked towards Issei's side. Rias was looking at Issei with a face of rejection. When he was walking towards her, she couldn't do anything but tremble. Issei hugged her and gave her a hug on her neck. "Sure my dear, Wani-san wouldn't mind. After all, what's mine is yours," Issei said, making Rias blush even more. Rias regained her composure and dismissed everyone. After Akeno, Kiba and Kaneko left, Rias and Issei walked to his home. Haidu residence. When they arrived, Issei clicked a button which made the bell ring. Rias was nervous to see Yukina again, but Issei just patted her head and said, "Rias, she treated you like her own family as well. I don't think she will have a problem with it. You can even share the same room with me if you want to," Issei said, making Rias embarrassed. The door slowly opened. A woman with brown hair and brown eyes appeared. She was wearing an apron and looked beautiful with it. Although Yukina was in her mid-20s, she still didn't lose her beauty all those years. In fact, she seemed more mature than before. "Welcome back, Issei." "Oh wait, is this Rias-san? It had been so long since I met you," Yukina said, hugging Issei. She looked at Rias and gave her a big warm hug as well. "Nice to meet you again, Yukina-san. If you may, can I stay here while living in the human world?" Rias asked immediately, bringing the topic. "Oh, sure. Your old room was still here so you can use it," Yukina said, feeling happy about Rias' decision to live there again. She always felt like Rias was her little sister, so she gladly let her stay. Rias then bowed, appreciating Yukina's acceptance. However, since she really wanted to sleep with Issei, she rejected the offer on living in a spare room. "Thanks, Yukina-san. However, I think I would be sharing the same room with Issei. After all, I'm both his master and girlfriend, so I must look after him," Rias said, and Yukina nodded. "I understand. Please come in now," Yukina said, walking back into the house, inviting Rias and Issei. Rias took her stuff to Issei's room. Inside Issei's room, there was a desk on the left for Issei to study. On the right, there was a small bed which could only fit one person. Rias was sad as she couldn't sleep with Issei with this kind of bed, however, she thought of a solution. She summoned a magic circle. The magic circle was large enough to cover the whole bed, or even more prominent. She placed the magic circle on top of the bed, and the bed slowly became more significant to fit two people. Issei was shocked about what Rias just did. She freaking made his bed larger. Issei put down Rias' stuff inside. He took out his pajamas to take a shower. After Issei left the room, Rias began taking her stuff out to decorate the room. She took out some Japanese toys and placed them on top of Issei's bookshelf. Other than that, she also took out some famous Japanese building models such as Himeji Castle, Nijim Castle and so on. After Issei came back, he was shocked that the room was full of Japanese building models and photos about Japanese culture. Issei knew that she loved Japanese culture and was always obsessed with books about Japanese traditional etiquette. When she stayed with him 10 years ago, she would always tell Issei to buy some Japanese models for her. After Rias placed all of her collection, she took out a dress and went to take a shower. Issei looked at the collection carefully and realized they were all high quality. However, one photo, in particular, caught his attention. The picture of him, Yukina and Rias. They were next to a dinner table taking a selfie. 10 years ago. Haidu residence. 5432.1.0. "Rias, I'm going to catch you," Issei shouted. Issei and Rias were in the garden playing hide and seek. It was Issei's favorite game. Rias was hiding behind a bush and trying to hide her presence with demonic power. Issei searched for a lot of places, like under a chair, behind bushes and so on. After a few minutes, Issei began to explore inside the bush. It took him some minutes to finally find Rias. "Wow. I will catch you," Issei said when he found Rias. "Wow. Issei, you are so good at this game," Rias praised Issei, making him blush. "I just have a lot of experience, that's all," Issei said while hiding his blush. "Now, I will be the catcher. Issei, find the best spot to hide as I'm sure that I will catch you," Rias said, covering her eyes to begin the countdown. "Issei. Rias-chan. It is time for lunch. Come," Yukina shouted, making both of the kids stop. They walked to the residence together and they saw a lot of delicious meals. Next to the meals, there was a camera that caught Issei's curiosity. "Wani-san, what is this thing?" Issei said, holding and looking at it. "This is a camera. It is used to keep precious memories, so that's why you know the face of our dad and mum," Yukina said, beginning to cry. However, Issei hugged her and said. Don't worry One-san. We are not lonely anymore. You see, we have Rias. Issei said, making Yukina realize how naive Issei was. However, it was not a bad thing as he made her better. Yukina paused for a while and thought of an idea. How about we take a selfie? Yukina asked. Yukina-san, what is a selfie? Rias asked in curiosity. It is a way to take a photo, and we have to hold the camera by reversing the direction. You see, the camera lens should be facing us to take a selfie. Yukina explained, making Rias and Issei want to know more. How about we take a selfie? Yukina said, holding the camera and raising her hands. Rias and Issei followed as they stood next to each other and gave a victory pose. After the photo was taken, Yukina printed out the picture. Rias, I wanted you to keep this, Yukina said, giving her the photo. Rias accepted it and she saw this was a memorial of her living in the human world for the first time. She quickly ran into her room and placed it on her bags. Back to present time. Hi to residents. We were too young back then, a lot of things had happened during those 10 years. Issei said, feeling sad that time had passed by within a blink of an eye. After a while, Rias came back. Issei was immediately attracted to her sexy body, almost having a nosebleed. As he was afraid that his male urge would come up, he told Rias to wear something. Rias giggled at Issei's reaction and wore the transparent dress that she brought before the shower. Issei, sleep first. I need to write a report to the Gremory house, so it will take time. You had done an excellent job on killing that stray devil, so you deserved a rest. Rias said, an Issei on his lips. Thanks Rias. You had done a good job as well. As expected, as the woman I love the most. Issei said, making Rias blush. Then good night Rias, I love you, Issei said. I love you too Issei. Rias said, putting her hands on her S. As Rias left the room, Issei began to sleep. 1 hour after. Rias finished writing her report and she was walking to her room to sleep. When she opened the door, she saw Issei peacefully sleeping on his own. Most of all, he was half. Rias smiled when she saw Issei's muscular body and his cute face. After staring at him for a while, she dressed in her birthday suit and lay on the bed next to Issei. She hugged Issei tightly and embraced him softly. She also leaned her head on top of Issei's, feeling Issei's warmth. Wow, Issei's is comfortable to lean on. At this point I won't be able to leave him alone, Rias said, hugging Issei tighter. Rias soon slept while hugging Issei as her own personal body pillow. Isay's dream. Hell. Issei opened his eyes slowly. He didn't know what happened, but what he could see was plain black. The place was filled with complete darkness. He scratched his eyes to see if it made any difference. Unfortunately, it was still dark. Issei couldn't even see his own body, let alone find Rias. Ophis. Ophis. He shouted in his mind. There was no response. Ophis wasn't with him, and that's very odd. She was supposed to be living inside him, and their soul was connected. Issei's body started to shake. It was fear. He didn't know what to do without his sacred gear. He slapped himself desperately, hoping that this was a dream. However, it did nothing. He closed his eyes, trying to calm down. After he opened his eyes, he saw a terrifying image. Yukina, his only family, was lying on the ground. Most importantly, a light spear was on top of her body and tons of blood was flowing out from Yukina. He was frightened. Then he turned to Kiba. Kiba was currently fighting some fallen angels. However, his stamina was so low that he could barely resist. Eventually, he was stabbed and fell to the ground. Issei ran to his side and held him. Run Ice-kun, that monster Koka, Kiba muttered slowly. His eyes were closed before he could finish his sentence, shocking Issei. Issei shook him, denying the fact that he couldn't save one of his most important comrades. Ice. Are you okay? What's happening here? Someone shouted. Issei turned his head around. He saw his beloved running towards his side, trying to figure out what happened. However, before she could reach his side, a fireball was dropping on top of Rias. Rias. Issei shouted and rushed to Rias. However, it was too late. Boom. Rias was gone forever. It triggered Issei so much that he started to rampage. He looked up and he saw an 8-winged fallen angel sitting on a floating throne. He crossed his legs, with his left fist holding his head, waiting for something. The fallen angel was Cabal himself, the warmonger. Issei stared at Cabal with emotionless eyes. Although he couldn't summon his sacred gear, he began to mumble something that is super dangerous. Who shall awaken? That's it. Entertain me. Cabal shouted, showing his excitement. However, as Issei began to chant, Cabal noticed something abnormal. Issei was emitting a crimson and a rainbow aura. With the crimson one, he knew what it was. The scary crimson purgatory. He could counter that with all his power, although he would be quite injured. But the other one surpassed even Surzich's power. Wait, what the hell? This aura was indeed emitting from him. It surpassed even the two heavenly dragons in their prime. Did I make the wrong decision? Cabal thought. Although he was excited, he was scared about the immense amount of aura Issei was emitting. I'm the new dragon god who held the power of infinity domination. Hi to residents, 5:27 AM. Hey, why am I waking up? Rias mumbled as she opened her eyes slowly. She turned around to see her cute body pillow. Much to her surprise, he was sweating, a lot. Issei had his sacred gear summoned, and it made Rias confused. Most importantly, his sacred gear was not in its usual rainbow form, rather it was emitted a dark color. The jewel on the infinity critical kept its usual remaining color, but it just kept flashing. The reason was. Ice. Stop. Ophis shouted. Ophis. What happened? Rias asked while holding Issei's left hand. He is now having a serious nightmare. If this continues, he will unlock my full power and enter Juggernaut drive. He will become out of control and eventually die. Ophis exclaimed again, trying to reach Issei, but she couldn't do anything. Not even when she was in her original form. Rias panicked and she didn't want her boyfriend to die. She took Issei's head to place it on her bosom. She knew that he would calm down. After a few moments, Issei started to breathe normally and hugged Rias back unconsciously. Rias, I'll protect you no matter what, he mumbled and hugged Rias even tighter. Rias gave out a slide as Issei unconsciously zed her. Although she was satisfied with what Issei just did and wanted this to continue, she couldn't help but worry about what Issei had been suffering. She let go of him and held him. As time went by, Issei finally woke up, much to Rias' delight. Rias, you're alive. Issei stared at Rias, who was completely confused by what Issei meant. However, she put Issei on his forehead and replied with a nod. With assurance, Issei smashed his lips and ed Rias. Rias didn't expect this to come, so she closed her eyes to enjoy what's going to happen. Issei slipped his tongue inside Rias' mouth, going alpha mode. He placed his hands on Rias' large and it tightly. Rias let out it to show that she enjoyed it very much, but she also knew that Issei was not in his normal mental state. She broke off and held Issei's with both of her head and whispered. Mind to tell me what happened, my dear? Everyone was killed in my dream, including you. You were killed in front of me by a fireball, and you disappeared right after the smoke faded away. And I felt something had possessed within me right after that. I mumbled a chant which I don't even know. In the middle of the chant, I felt your warmth and stopped the chant, and then I don't know what happened. Issei said as he began to shake. Rias never saw this side of him, so he didn't know what to do. But she knew one thing. Issei was going to be in serious trouble. Heaven. Michael. Did you feel it? Yeah, Gabriel, this is the power of the new strongest Longinus infinity gear. Not even father can create such a thing, right? Yeah, this generation Securite, with the power of infinity. Just what are you doing, Ophis? Underworld. Fallen Angels territory. Oi, this is getting exciting. As I can feel that my rival had two types of aura. The first one was indeed the boosted gear's power, but the other one is strange. I can feel that it has the power of infinity. But it should be Ophis, right? Speaking of Ophis, Volley. Do you know that Ophis sealed herself inside the boosted gear? No, but this will be interesting. I never thought I would fight someone who possessed the power of the Welsh dragon and the Ouroboros dragon. My rival is sure interesting. Surzich's Ophis. Surzich's Sama, do you? Yeah, I sensed it. This power even surpassed my own. Is he awake? Yeah, Graphia, but he didn't have full control of his power. Right now he will only berserk. Why? Because Welsh dragon x Ouroboros dragon. Truly terrifying. He would be out of control. Then should we send someone to look after him now? Don't worry. My sister is the only one who can keep Issei in a stable state. My sister isn't the Crimson Ruin Empress for nothing. My name is Ddraig Gotch. The Welsh dragon and one of the two heavenly dragons. Before I met Albion, the vanishing dragon, I thought I was the strongest after Great Red and Ophis. In my prime, I fought enemies who dared to break my dignity, and I always made them suffer. I was a very prideful dragon, and I thought I could eliminate everyone who dared to challenge me. Being so powerful, I was ranked third in the top 10 strongest beings, and that got me the title of the Heavenly Dragon. Of course, the top two were Ophis and Great Red. I didn't even know who was stronger between them, and it seemed that they were equal in power. I was in the third position for a long time, and I was very bored because no one was able to challenge me. Ever since then I have been incredibly eager to fight a crazy battle maniac. However, when I met Albion, that changed everything. Normal POV. 10 million years ago. Another boring day. Who can challenge me? A red dragon shouted on top of a mountain. He had the appearance of a large red western dragon, with a long neck and red eyes, red and golden spikes throughout his body. He was almost the strongest dragon residing, and he wanted other creatures to fight him. He never felt that he was genuinely fighting someone else. Divide. Someone shouted, and a white aura came to Ddraig's side. Ddraig felt weakened immediately. Yes. Fight me. Ddraig shouted to get the attention of the creature. The creature slowly appeared. It was a dragon, with the almost same appearance, but different in color. Welsh dragon. I finally met you. The dragon said calmly. It was a white dragon. Well. Before we begin the battle, let me boost back my power. Ddraig said. Boost. It was weird. My power had been reduced by half. Why? Ddraig thought as he was confused about how his opponent reduced half of his power with ease. The white dragon cleared his throat and began to speak. My name is Albion Gwyber. The Vanishing Dragon, as well as holding the title of the Heavenly Dragon. Although you might not know me since you chose to isolate yourself so much, I heard of you from other fellow dragons. I heard that you were entitled as a heavenly dragon such as myself, and you held immense power. I want to fight with you and see how you could compete with me. Albion said, making Ddraig eager to fight more. My name is Ddraig Gotch. I don't want the introduction to be long, so let's start fighting, shall we? Ddraig said while being ready to fight. Albion flew towards Ddraig, sending an arrow with his signature poison. Albion's poison was too dangerous, which brought fear to many. No one had ever survived when the poison hit them. Once the poison was inside Ddraig's body, Albion thought he was going to die instantly. However, Ddraig showed no signs of suffering. Instead, nothing had happened to him. Ddraig swung his tail to Albion, while Albion tried to figure out why his poison wasn't doing anything. After a few minutes of fist fighting, Ddraig seemed to be normal. Ddraig used his most potent dragon fire breath to damage Albion. However, it did nothing. His dragon fire breath was so deadly that it was similar to Vritra's cursed flame, although much more powerful. It was known that the fire breath could even burn the soul until nothing remained. Ddraig was happy to see someone who could be able to resist his dangerous flames. Very well. I'll seal my fire breath and fight you with only the boost and transfer ability. The true fight begins now, Albion. Ddraig shouted as he prepared his wings to fight his rival. Then, I'm going to seal my poison as well. It seems like, besides Great Red and Ophis, you are the only existence that can ever be immune to my poison. I had been trying to search opponents like you. Now come. Present time. Ddraig's Pov. Yeah, and that's when I started to fight Albion. We fought until we were exhausted, and we would fight again after a week had passed. The fights continued for thousands of years until the three-way war happened. The war between devils, fallen angels, and heaven. Well, we ignored them, and we kept fighting. However, our style of fighting had slowly become more and more violent, and that caused problems in the war. Our fight interrupted their fight, so they called a truce and focused on us. We cooperated and fought them, but eventually, we underestimated them too much and got cut to 1,000 pieces. The God of the Bible sealed our soul into sacred gears. Mine was called the Boosted Gear, and Albion's one was called the Divine Dividing. They were classified as Longinus, the highest level among sacred gears, and it was rumored to be capable of killing a god. My sacred gear and Albion's sacred gear were placed as mid-tier Longinus. We continue to fight by telling our host the story of the other dragon, and they will fight until the other one is dead. The initial state of the boosted gear will contain the appearance of twice critical, a super weak sacred gear. However, with strong feelings, the boosted gear will transform into a more dragon-like gauntlet and cover up the user's hand and a majority of the arm. The host of the boosted gear held the same title as what I do the Red Dragon Emperor, the Issei. The fight continued for centuries. Who won the battle? Well, wins and losses, I guess. Living inside the sacred gear wasn't interesting, and I was seriously bored. My current host didn't even know about my presence yet. However, he was damn strong because the Ouroboros dragon chose to give her power to my current host and sealed her soul inside the boosted gear. Once she was in, the boosted gear turned into something else and it became the Infinity Gear. I like the new name though, but the others mistaken it as the Infinity Critical. Possibly, they didn't know that the so-called twice critical was the boosted gear. I don't blame them for not knowing since my current host unlocked the sacred gear with Ophis' help. The boosted gear couldn't turn to its dragon-like state so that they didn't know about my presence. When Ophis sealed herself inside, I was curious, so I asked her secretly. However, she didn't reply to any of my questions and decided to block my communication with my host. I was stuck for like 11 years and I'm very bored. My host was perfectly capable of talking to me. However, I couldn't communicate with him because goddamn Ophis. Just a moment ago, my host had a terrible dream. He dreamt of Cabal, a crazy warmonger and a brutal fallen angel of killing his comrade. He almost activated the Juggernaut drive inside his dream, but the chant was different than usual. The original Juggernaut drive was to release my original aura temporarily to fight strong opponents such as the hacker Kuoh. However, it will drain the user's life force and they will go berserk if their mind weren't strong enough to control it. However, this version of Juggernaut drive it was different. Although it will still make the user berserk if they were in a state of rage, it won't drain their life force. Most importantly, the aura emitted during the chant even surpassed the one in my prime. I assumed that was because of the power of infinity. I needed to talk to Ophis. At this state, no one could even control my host if he couldn't control himself. Ophis, please hear me. No response. Listen to me. If Ice goes berserk, he will destroy everything in the world. Still no response. Everything will be unbalanced. Including his loved ones, they will all die because of him. Neither of us will be able to control him. So what's the point? Ophis finally responded to me. I caught her attention, and I'm going to use this chance to convince her to stop blocking my communication to my host. Listen, Ophis. Ice will protect everyone he loves. If he killed them himself, he would be most likely to challenge Great Red. Yeah, my purpose is to defeat Great Red. And I'll fight him with Ice. After that, both of us were able to enjoy our lives, and I'm finally going to regain silence. Is there any problem? I was shocked by how Ophis reacted. She wanted to use my current host to fight Great Red. You don't understand. The Juggernaut drive will not stop until the user is beaten. In this state, even if he defeats Great Red, he will still fight, and you will not regain your silence. After all, he will be using the power of domination and infinity. Ophis didn't respond. But I knew that she was thinking about something. After a while, she gave a response that shocked me so much. Fine. I will let you be free to talk to him. But if I found out you did something terrible, with Ice's permission, I will block you. Clear? The dragon god threatened me. Usually, if other people dared to threaten me, I would kill him or her or make him or her injured. However, this was the dragon god we were talking about. So I had no choice but to let go of my pride and said. Yes. Issei's Pav. The Cabal killed my comrades. I couldn't fight against him. That feeling of despair still stood inside my heart. Although Rias comforted me a bit and went to cook breakfast for me to cheer me up, I felt like I was being possessed. Ice. My sacred gear appeared and the jewel on it shined. Yes. I asked Ophis. I'm going to show you something, but please don't be shocked, Ophis said, making me slightly confused. Okay, I guess. I said. My sacred gear changed its color to red. Holy crap. This was the same shape and color as the legendary boosted gear. I learned about it during the training with Exorcist. He said that the wielder of the boosted gear and the wielder of the divine dividing were destined to fight each other. The boosted gear can boost the user's power twice per 10 seconds and transfer its energy to someone else. The divine dividing divides the opponent's power twice per 10 seconds and adds the halved power to the user. But wait. Why did my sacred gear turn into the boosted gear? Hey partner. We finally met. I just heard an unknown, unfamiliar voice. Who was it? It is me. The Welsh dragon. Holy shit. Welsh dragon. Don't freak out yet. I haven't properly introduced myself yet. My name is Ddraig Gotch, one of the heavenly dragons, known as the Securite. Okay, but what is a heavenly dragon doing inside my infinity critical? Partner, you were mistaken from the start. Did Ophis tell you that the sacred gear you had was a twice critical? Of course. How come someone like me will possess some powerful sacred gear? The initial state of the boosted gear is similar to twice critical. That's why. And Ophis didn't want your big sister to freak out. I see. But I still do not understand what you are going to tell me. The chant you were chanting in your dream was a dangerous thing. I know it. Then. After you finish the chant, you will be in a state where you will do nothing but destroy opponents or everything surrounding you. You will possess the original aura of mine to defeat stronger opponents. The state is called the Juggernaut drive. Then why is it so dangerous? The Juggernaut drive will consume your anger, and you will go berserk in a state that no one will be able to control you. It will drain your life force, and you won't get out of it until you are dead. Wow. That's so dangerous. Luckily it was a dream. I still wanted to do something before I'm dead. But in your case, it is much different. Due to the power of infinity, your life force will not be drained, and you will receive an even higher amount of power. Wait, so no one will be able to stop me, and I will be forever in the wild state. Sadly, yes. Wow. I surely don't want this to happen. Indeed, me too. So we're going to wait for your girlfriend and tell her about all of this. Ophis interrupted the talk of Ddraig and me. Wait, Ophis. Are you giving her? Yes, Ddraig. I'm going to give her that. What is that? Whatever. This new thing was too much for me. I'm just going to go downstairs to eat breakfast with Rias. Rias Pav. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. When I saw the state my lovely Ice was in, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to help him, but he was way stronger than me. I couldn't help him with anything. I cooked a Western-style breakfast for Ice. Hopefully, he will enjoy it. Ice came downstairs and I ran next to him to check how he was doing. Ice, you're okay, right? You scared me, you know. I shouted as I began to cry. I was anxious about how I acted. Silly Rias. Of course, I'm okay. Don't need to worry about it. However, you said as I interrupted him. About what? I shouted even louder. Relax Rias. Ophis and Ddraig want to speak to you. I said. The security. I began to be confused. Greetings, Rias Gremory. Good morning, Ophis Ama. How can I help you? Good morning. This is the first time that I have talked to you. Are you security? Indeed I'm the Red Dragon Emperor, Ddraig Gotch, one of the 2 heavenly dragons. Nice to meet you Rias Gremory. Okay, straight on to the question. Why are you in Issei's sacred gear? You know that he processed a mere twice critical before, right? Yeah. Ophis then sealed herself inside, so the twice critical became the infinity critical. I said what I knew. Well, that was the first form of the boosted gear. What? I screamed as I was shocked by the news. To tell you why Ice was suffering yesterday during his sleep, do you know what Juggernaut Drive is? Ddraig asked me. No. What is it? I asked without knowing anything. Juggernaut Drive is a form in which the wielder of the boosted gear will be able to unleash my original aura and defeat strong foes. However, it will only be activated when they are filled with rage. They will go berserk and destroy everything surrounding you. It will also drain your life force, and you will not be able to get out of the situation unless they are heavily injured. And why is it related to Ice? As you know, Ice had been initially the wielder of the boosted gear. However, after I sealed myself in, this boosted gear became something new called the Infinity Gear, and it contained the power of domination and infinity. With the Infinity Gear's Juggernaut Drive, Ice will be able to access the power of infinity and destroy everything. The worst part is that his life force will not be drained and he will keep going berserk for eternity. Oh no, Ice must have dreamt something terrible yesterday, I mumbled. Indeed. So if he undergoes Juggernaut Drive in real life, we are all in trouble. Is there any solution? I will do anything to make sure I am safe. I said with determination. Ice meant the whole world to me. He brought happiness to my life. If he was not there, I don't know how I am going to keep on living. I will try everything to make sure Ice live a peaceful life. You are going to be Ice's mate, aka wife. What? Being Ice's wife? That's what I have dreamt for years. I love Ice so much that I don't want to leave him, like ever. The bright light shined inside the jewel of Ice's infinity gear and something flowed out. It formed something on top of Ice's hand. With a close look, it was a ring with old letters surrounding it and a crown on the side of the ring. Ice and I both looked at the ring with amusement. This is the ring that you are going to wear for the rest of your life. Since you will be a mate of a dragon, the ring can make you stop Ice from going berserk and your love will be able to make him calm down. Also, you will gain respect from other dragons or creatures as they will know to not mess up with the wife of the ultimate dragon. The 2 legendary dragons did something like this. I am stunned to see such a beautiful ring and I'm going to wear it for the rest of my life. This ring is a sign of me living with Ice forever and I'm happy to treasure it forever. Most of all, I'm going to be married to Ice. However, Ice is staring at the ring awkwardly and he is genuinely in thought. I wonder why. Ice's pav. Damn. That was too fast. The ring is too much of a mystery for me. Never mind. Most importantly, I'm going to marry Rias. Then it means that I need to take responsibility from now on. And why did Ddraig say mate? Rias is staring at me at the moment. I felt nothing but a weird atmosphere. Should I propose to her now or do nothing and let this be natural? I have no idea. I know Rias is fantasized in traditional love romance where a couple fell in love and got married. So should I propose to her right now? Yo partner. How's that? Damn you Ddraig. Why are you making this so awkward for me? It is not awkward. You wished for it, right? You're right, Ophis. I want to marry Rias, but I'm not mentally prepared right now. If you marry Rias Gremory, even if you entered Juggernaut Drive, you would be able to get out of it safely. However, we still don't know about the consequences of forcing Juggernaut Drive out. That girl is madly in love with you. When you trained with her, she was always worried about you. And when you were hurt, she would rush to your side and heal you immediately. As a fellow dragon, she is a perfect candidate as your mate. Okay. Chill out, you 2 dragons. All I need to do is to propose to her now, right? Fufu, I don't know. Screw you. I'm going to do it. Normal pav. Issei held the right tightly and he turned around to create a box with his demonic power. He opened the box, put the ring in, and closed it. Rias had no idea of what he was doing, so she just stood there profoundly in thought. Issei looked at Rias, kneeled, and presented the box to her. Rias. When I was a kid, I didn't know what love was. Although my 1E was taking care of me, I felt like I still lacked something. Ever since I met you and the Surziches, I have had a sense of family. I don't know why, but it felt great. Surziches is like a big brother to me, and you, Rias, are the girl I want to protect and love for the rest of my life. I know this is very sudden, but I want to do this. Rias Gremory, will you marry me? Issei was scared that Rias would reject her. It's true that Rias loved him, and he loved her as much as she did. However, he still knew that Rias might not be ready and rejected his proposal. He didn't want that. Nevertheless, he even wanted to get this done to show his love for Rias. Rias froze at the sudden proposal. She didn't expect Issei to propose to her. She just thought that they would get married without the proposal. Being shocked, she cried as she was thrilled. Yes, for 1,000,000 times. And yes, for another 1,000,000,000 times. I love you so much, Isay. Rias said, shedding tears. Isay stood up and took the ring out. He slipped the ring to Rias' fourth finger and hugged her tightly. Rias couldn't help but keep crying as she couldn't believe what just happened. After a few minutes, they broke off the hug and proceeded to dot only when their lips touched each other. Congratulations. Someone shouted. Rias and Issei stopped them from finding out who shouted. A woman came out making Issei flustered. 1E-san. Why are you interrupting our after the proposal? Issei shouted while hiding the blush on his face. On the other hand, Rias was embarrassed too, and she leaned on Issei's hiding her face. Well, I'm not the one who wanted to interrupt, Yukina said, making Issei confused even more. A man with shoulder-length crimson hair and blue-green eyes appeared behind Yukina. It was the current Mayu, Surzich's Lucifer, Rias' brother. Yoice-kun. So now you have no choice but to call me Surzich's teased, making both Issei and Rias embarrassed even more. Rias hugged Issei even more tightly, and Issei patted her head to show comfort. Stop teasing us, Ani-sama. I'm so happy and embarrassed right now. Rias said, still hugging Issei. Yeah, you got it, Ria-tan. But that's not why I'm here today. Surzicha started putting a stern face, making Rias break off the hug and looking at him in confusion. What do you mean? Rias asked simply in confusion. Isay-kun. You used Juggernaut drive, did you? Surzicha asked. I kind of did in my dream. I did not finish the whole chant, so I guess half. Prevent using the Juggernaut drive. It is too dangerous. Surzicha said with a voice of seriousness. Ani-sama, Ophis and Ddraig gave me a ring which can help me force out Issei in his Juggernaut drive. So don't worry about it. Rias said, showing off her ring to the Surzichas with a happy face. However, Surzichas frowned after seeing it. This ring, oh, Ria-tan, you are going to be strong. Surzichas thought. Never mind then. Isay-kun, just don't let your emotions control you too much. I have to go to deal with some work so that I will see you guys later. Surzicha said, forming a magic circle to leave. After the Surzichas left, the couple looked at each other with happiness in their gaze. Although not understanding why the Surzichas left all of a sudden, they ignored it and finished the rest of the breakfast happily and went to school. Kuoh Academy. Our lovely couple held hands and walked to school together as usual. The comments about them were spreading again. Oh my god. Our great 1E-sama and the king of Kuoh. They are such a lovely couple. Die. Hi to Issei. Rias Gremory is not yours. She's mine. Don't you dare to have sex with her. I'll kill you. Rias and Issei chuckled about the comments. For Rias, she was astonished at how the boys in Kuoh Academy thought they could compete with her lovely Isay. Also, it was none of their business whether she had sex with Issei. Although she wanted it to happen, it seemed like they had to wait for a little bit. For Issei, although he was angry about the boys' comment regarding claiming Rias on their own, he was deeply in thought on the last comment. For a girl to become a mate of his, she needed to have sex with him to complete the mating process. So that means they need to do it in the coming week. As both of them were still deeply in thought, they already arrived in the classroom. Every student from class 2B stared at Rias' hand. Specifically, the ring. They were confused about why Rias was wearing a freaking ring. Wait, Rias Gremory is wearing a ring? Don't tell me. Hi to Issei. Has proposed to her? Every boy in the classroom shouted. Rias and Issei laughed at their reaction and she declared. Yes. I did propose to me. From now on, I'll be Rias Hi-do Gremory. Rias started out loud, making Issei embarrassed. She held him on and held his hand tightly. Oh my god. This is our defeat. I'll give up on her. Wait. We still have Himejima Keno. She is super beautiful as well. Although Rias Gremory is more beautiful, she won't lose in terms of size. The boys ran out of the classroom. Rias and Issei couldn't help but sigh at their actions. A lot of girls came next to them and congratulated them. Although the girls were sad that they lost Issei, they still shipped Rias and Issei very much. Just before the school date began, near the entrance gate of Kuoh Academy, something happened. Kuoh Academy school gate. Sona Shitori, a second-grade student, the president of the current student council, was standing next to the entrance gate of Kuoh Academy. Her real name is Sona Sitri, the next head of the House of Sitri. She is a high-class devil and the sister of the current Mayu, Seraphol Leviathan. She is a bespectacled young woman with a slim figure, black hair styled in a short bob cut and violet eyes. Next to her is Tsubaki Shinra, the vice president of the current student council, Sona's queen, and a second grader. She is a young woman with long straight black hair that extends down to her knees, with split bangs and light brown eyes. She wears a pair of blue semi-rimmed glasses with square lenses. "Tsubaki, did you feel something weird?" Sona said. "I felt some holy aura." "Could it be?" Tsubaki replied. "Could it be exorcists? Why are they in Kuoh?" Sona said as she couldn't figure out who made that aura. Two people wearing white rope appeared in front of their eyes. One of them carried a big sword on their back. Although it was covered with bandages, it emitted a holy aura which made Sona goosebumps. The other one did not carry any swords, but Sona can feel that it had the same dangerous holy aura. They walked towards Sona and Tsubaki while they prepared to create an artificial dimension to avoid damage to the school. They took off the rope and they saw that two girls were standing in front of them. One of them stepped up and talked to Sona. "Are you the devil in charge of Kuoh?" one of them asked. She is a young woman with chin-length blue hair with a dyed green fringe on the right side and brown eyes. She was wearing a battle suit, which consists of a black, skin-tight, short-sleeved leotard with pauldrons, matching fingerless gloves that extend to her biceps, and thigh-high boots, all of which are adorned with straps. This attire is worn under a white hooded cloak with gold and blue accents. "I'm one of the devils in charge of Kuoh. My name is Sona Sitri, the heiress of the House of Sitri. The other one who is in charge of Kuoh is called Rias Gremory, the heiress of the House of Gremory. What do you want, exorcists?" Sona asked with a threatening tone. She knew that exorcists wouldn't come to Kuoh unless something happened. "My name is Zenobia Quarta, and next to me is my partner Shidu Irina." Zenobia introduced and Irina stepped up as well. Irina is a beautiful young woman with nut hair and violet eyes. Her hair is usually tied into twin tails, each held with a blue scrunchie, but on some occasions, she lets her hair down. "Hello, my name is Shidu Irina. Nice to meet you," Irina said. "We need to talk. The situation is critical. Please bring the other heiress tomorrow and we will discuss the matter with you too." Zenobia started with a serious tone. Sona nodded and the two exorcists left. As they were out of Sona's sight, she rushed towards Class 2B. When she arrived, Rias was shocked to see Sona in a rush. "Rias, we are in trouble. Rias, we are in big trouble." The two loving couples turned their heads to the perplexed Kaiju. Rias was sitting on Issei's lap and Issei was holding Rias' waist. "What is happening now, Sona?" Rias asked while being confused. If it was Sona out of all people said there is a problem, then they are probably in a very hazardous state. Although Sona was feeling awkward talking to them because she thought she was a light bulb, she needed to tell them the whole situation anyway. "I saw two exorcists waiting outside of the school and they demanded a meeting," Sona said while trying very hard to maintain her composure. "What did they say?" Issei asked. "They said, bring the other heiress and discuss a matter." "What do those two want?" Issei thought. "I already sensed those two's presence a long time ago though." "Why don't you tell me, Ophis?" Issei asked with a slight hint of anger. But he knew that they would know about this anyway if Ophis didn't inform him earlier. "I wanted to make you scared, bruh." "Hey Ophis, my host isn't that weak. He is the legendary Seker Yuite." "No, not Seker Yuite anymore. He is the Mugen Ryuite." "Shut up, the fat red dragon." Mugen means infinity in Japanese. I replaced Siki, which means red, with Mugen. "Wow, the prideful Ddraig just got beaten by Ophis. That's cruel." Issei thought while laughing at how Ophis treated Ddraig. I'm worried," Rias said while staring Issei with puppy dog eyes. Every time Rias did that, Issei couldn't resist. The mighty Infinity Dragon Emperor cannot resist his lover's cute face. He pulled Rias on his warm and patted her hair. To comfort Rias, he softly whispered. "It's okay. I'll protect you, no matter what happens. I'm your partner, I'll do anything to rescue you if you are in trouble, even if it means to destroy everything." Rias turned bright red and she almost sobbed because of how manly Issei was. She hugged Issei and rested on him. However, they didn't know that they were still in the classroom, so there was some crisis. All of their classmates who are in their classroom gazed at them with different kinds of faces, for example, respectful faces, hostile faces, startled faces and much more. "I haidu. As we said, we have a Keno-san. NYAA, they are such a sweet couple. Although they are school idols, are they showing off too much?" Those comments appeared out of nowhere, but the lovely couple didn't care at all, as long as they were staying next to another. Ring ring. The bell for the beginning of class rang. Rias got off of her favorite place and sat next to Issei. During the lesson, Rias and Issei were both not paying any attention as they were both worried about why exorcists were finding them. As they both thought deeply in thought, the lessons finished without them noticing. Lunch. The Cult Research Club room. Rias and Issei headed to the old school building. Akeno, Kiba and Kaneko were already waiting for them. Akeno was taking out some tea, Kaneko was eating snacks as usual, and Kiba was looking at his sword. When the couple entered, the three of them couldn't help but stare at Rias' hand. "Rias, why are you wearing a ring?" Akeno asked. Rias flustered immediately and put both of her hands on her. Issei looked at her with a smile and told Akeno. "We are engaged, and I gave her a ring." The three of them dropped the things that they were holding. They gasped in shock for a while, and finally, they screamed. "What?" Kiba rushed to Issei's side, giving him a thumbs up. "My pal, seems like you did good. You successfully proposed to my master. Congratulations." "Thanks, Kiba. I hope you will find someone in the future as well," Issei said with appreciation. Akeno whispered something to Rias. "Hey, Rias, can you share Issei with me?" Akeno teased. Although the usual Rias might be jealous, this time she showed the power of the legal wife. "Hey Issei, do you mind if I share you with other girls?" Rias asked with puppy eyes again. Being beaten by Rias' cute face, Issei said with a loud tone. "My soul, body, everything belongs to you only, dear. So even if you share me with others, I won't love them." Issei immediately put his arms around Rias' neck. Rias felt warm and she made a victory pose towards Akeno. Akeno responded with a sad face. Knowing that this wasn't the time for them to celebrate, Issei said. "Look, Kaichu will be here with us because we are going to meet 2 exorcists." Everyone except the couple was horrified as their mouths were wide open. Kiba looked a lot more severe in the situation. He asked. "Are they carrying Excaliburs?" The whole peerage understood Kiba's hatred towards the Excaliburs. They tried to avoid mentioning Excalibur, but since 2 exorcists came, there was no choice but to answer him. "We don't know anything related to it yet. However, I'm certain that dangerous holy auras are surrounding them. They were also carrying swords, so I believe there might be Excaliburs," Issei answered with a natural tone. "They stole my friends, my life, I'll never forgive those people," Kiba muttered while holding his hands with pure anger. "Wow, if I were triggered to this state, I'd be chanting and entering Juggernaut Drive," Issei thought while wondering about his power. Indeed. "So, that's why the Ring of Infinity is given to Rias," Ophis answered in Issei's mind. "Is she gonna get any power up because of that?" "Yes. A lot. You shared some of your power of infinity to Rias, and thus she can be able to enhance her power of destruction by 10-fold or more. I believe she can rival the Mao class now." "That's impressive. How about me then? If you enter Juggernaut Drive, no one except Great Red or possibly Shiba can beat you. However, Rias will need 5 minutes to activate that ring and force you out of Juggernaut Drive. Although that's convenient, you might be unconscious for a few years. It depends on what method she used." "Ophis, can you explain more about it?" "To force you out of anger, one major element is to drag you out of the void of anger. There are 2 ways for you to leave there. The first one is to drag you out. Rias will enter there and drag you out forcefully. The second one is to convince you with words and love, and you will leave the void by your own will. Of course, the second method can prevent any consequences as you leave the place with your own will." "I see. Then what's the power with my balance breaker state?" "I believe you might be 2 times lower than Surzich's. We are talking about a super devil who surpassed the power of the original Lucifer. Of course, you can be classified as a super devil as well since you inherit my power. Do I get any upgrades without doing any harm?" "If you can discover a subspecies balance breaker." "A subspecies balance breaker, huh? Hey Issei. Look at me." Rias shouted while holding Issei's dot because Issei was in thought. He didn't show any response when Rias and the others were talking. "Sorry dear. I was thinking about the ring and my powers." Issei responded with a bright smile which warmed Rias up. "I'm worried about you. You have to hug me tonight as a redemption, okay?" Rias said while smiling. "Sure dear." Issei added on Rias, making her chuckle. They both sat on the couch and waited for Kaichu and the 2 exorcists to arrive. 5 minutes after. The magical blue circle appeared next to the front door. 3 individuals showed up: Sona, Tsubaki and Saji. "Rias, we are ready." Rias nodded and Sona opened the front door of the Occult Research Club room. Both Irina and Zenobia showed up. "Hello devils. Wait, is that Issei-kun and Rias-san?" Irina said while pointing at Issei. "Hey Irina. I met again." Issei waved his hand towards Irina. "I thought you left Kuoh already." "No, I just went training." "Oh, I see. Hey Rias-san. We met again as well," Irina said. "Irina-san. Nice to meet you again." Rias replied with a big smile. "Alright Irina, stop. We are here to do business, not meeting your childhood friend." The sapphire-haired woman, Zenobia said. They both sat opposite to Rias and Issei, while Luceno and Sona stood behind those two respectively. Okay, so let us start. Some Excaliburs were stolen from the church. Zenobia said while showing some holy aura to give a scary effect to others, although that didn't work towards the infinite dragon emperor. Then he replied. Since we know that a stray exorcist stole it, we would like to ask for your cooperation. It is very sarcastic for a believer who opposes devils, but we have no choice. Zenobia continued. Give me one reason for me to cooperate with you, Issei demanded. Issei-kun, he is working with the fallen angel, Cabal, Irina said softly, while knowing how painful Issei's past is. That's the fallen angel who brought despair to his sister, Yukina. That's the fallen angel who made his sister cry every time. That's the fallen angel who made his sister need to go through everything. He loves Yukina more than anything, even more than Rias. It was because Yukina was the one who raised Issei as a man. Without her, he will never meet Rias, Surziches, and Ophis. If others know it, they will never trigger two people if Issei is here. Yukina and Rias, the most important women in his world. Issei's eyes were covered with his hair, and he began to emit dangerous auras. The aura was so tense that everyone except Rias could hardly breathe. Calm down, Issei. I can't let you turn into Juggernaut Drive. Please stay with me. Rias said while hugging Issei's right hand to her to let him calm down. He calmed down slowly after hearing Rias' request. Sorry Rias, I got a bit carried away. Please, Irina, continue. Wait, Juggernaut Drive of a dragon who received the power of infinity. Irina said. Yeah, Irina-san. If Issei turned into the Juggernaut Drive state, even Ophis herself could not help her escape. No one can. Rias started making everyone worried. There are two ways, but I am not going to reveal right now. Please, continue. Issei said. The stray exorcist is called Fried Selzen. He is one of the evilest exorcists out of all strays. He killed his comrade heartlessly and left hundreds of devils. Irina said. He stole Excalibur rapidly, which contains the power of enhancing one's speed. Also, he took Excalibur transparency as well. The user of it can be invisible by wielding the sword. Zenobia said with more details. The church only has 2 Excaliburs remaining. I have Excalibur Mimic, which can turn to any sizes I want. Irina took out a small western knife and showed it to Issei. And mine is called Excalibur Destruction. This sword contains absolute destructive power, and it is a potent weapon. Since I'm a power type user, I'm quite a suitable wielder of this sword. Zenobia took out the giant sword with bandages covered around it and presented it to everyone. Looks like the one that I wanted to destroy for so long has finally appeared. A voice came out behind Akeno. Who are you? Zenobia asked coldly. She didn't expect some lowly servant to interfere with the conversation. Issei is an exception because she knows that he is a powerful one. Who am I? I'm your senior. Kiba said coldly while emitting an aura of anger. So I assume that you are the only survivor of the Holy Sword Project? Zenobia asked. Indeed I am, and the thing that destroyed everything in my life has finally appeared in front of me, Kiba said while summoning a sword. And now, for my friends, I'm going to destroy it. Kiba shouted, ready to slash the Excalibur. Issei held his hands and stopped Kiba. What are you doing, Issei-kun? Kiba questioned and threatened Issei. I know that you are angry, but these Excalibur are a valuable asset to them. We all know that the Holy Sword Project is a tragic event, so when the matter is over, I'll request the church to prepare an Excalibur and let you destroy it. Issei said, catching everyone's attention. What? Issei-kun, what are you talking about? Haidu-kun, I don't think the church will grant your request. Yes Haidu, Issei. You can't do it. Once it's done, you can't go back. Irina, Sona and Zenobia all questioned Issei's motive and he just responded with a laugh. They can be reforged. So, you won't gain any loss. Issei said giving assurance to others. Issei-kun. Please go away. This is my business. Kiba said and he forcefully moved Issei's hand away and he dashed to Zenovia's side. I'll destroy this Excalibur. Kiba shouted while slashing. Unfortunately, the bandages covered the whole sword, so Kiba didn't do any damage to the Excalibur destruction when he was slashing it. As the bandages are destroyed due to Kiba's rapid slashing, Zenobia quickly picks up the sword and then jumps back, ready for battle. Very well Kiba Udo. Before you can destroy the sword, you will have to defeat me. Let's fight now. Zenobia said. They both moved their left leg out and dashed to each other. When they almost confronted each other. Destructive Barrier, Level 1. Issei summoned his sacred gear and shouted. A rainbow-colored wall appeared between Zenobia and Kiba. Since they accelerated too fast. Both of them even clashed on the wall and fell with noticeable damage. Kiba's sword was destroyed and the Excalibur was a little bit damaged as well. The side of the sword is a little bit scratched, much to Zenovia's shock. The two of you, please stop. That's enough. We are here to cooperate, and I believe we will encounter Cabal and the guys who are in charge of the Holy Sword project. Cabal, hold your anger until then. Issei said. Issei-kun, what's the barrier that you are using? Irina asked, still shocked about what Issei just did. This destructive barrier can either protect or hurt somebody, and I will be the one who determines friendly or hostile. Since I need to stop these two forcefully, I have to give damage to both of them. Issei said. Cabal just stared at Issei with pure anger, as he didn't want any of them to be in his way. He stood up and created another sword, pointing at Issei. I don't need to cooperate with any of you. The reason I'm reincarnated into a devil is because of vengeance. Even you, Rias, but you can't stop me. Cabal said, and he summoned a magic circle and teleported to somewhere unknown. Udo, Rias said while holding both of his hands. Issei patted Rias' head, giving her a bright smile. Afterwards, he turned to Zenobia and said. We will cooperate with you. Since my comrade is filled with vengeance, we'll have to save him and kill Cabal at the same time. Issei said. Thank you very much, Issei. As a representative of the church, I'm grateful. However, that doesn't mean the devils in heaven will be officially cooperating. Please be aware that we are still enemies. Zenobia threatened. I understand. Rias said. 4 hours later, we will wait outside of the church. We need you to disguise and hide your identity as a devil so that the mission can be smooth. Irina said. But the nod from Issei and the others, they both picked up their sword and left the building. That's intense, Sona said. Yeah, but I don't know that my Issei-kun is so strong, Akeno said while having a sadistic smile. Akeno, stop. Rias threatened. What are we going to do now? Issei thought. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow the PvPSwag for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.